Yeah, should we watch the Xianyun video and see if it aged well or bad? Because this was another hot topic before. I said she was only like useful with Diluc, Xiao, and Garming. I wasn't planning on it, but what does Zjef do? Zjef does the post-release analysis. Yeah, I mean the thing with the Xianyun video, I think most of the negative feedback was from people who didn't even watch the video. You're overrating Xianyun, and then they're commenting like, "Oh my god, she's the best character in the game. This video was so bad," but they didn't even see the actual points in the video. This was on 400 ping, by the way. Getting that gameplay on 400 ping, it was not fun at all. Okay, so before I get started, I've never really made a negative character review before. I like to think my videos are pretty positive usually. Now we've made like a bunch of negative character videos. Xianyun's kit of enabling the plunge playstyle and buffing plunges isn't actually very strong by itself, and plunge damage doesn't seem to be magically stronger than whatever you were doing before. Rather, I believe Xianyun's strength was balanced around her also being a healer. Her being a healer helps cover the slot in a Farina team. Kinda true. And that's how I see Xianyun getting her full strength. But now, because of this, so much of Xianyun's niche is tied to you playing Farina with her. There's Silari now, but yeah, there wasn't Silari back then. A support, look at the timestamp, a support that needs a support. If you don't have Farina, or if you don't plan on playing Farina with her, you may be a Neuvillette main who has him glued to Farina. If you did get Xianyun, this would make her teamless. Neuvillette is of course very popular at the moment. Al Haytham, who has no real reason to play with Xianyun either. Similar thing with the Navia, who doesn't really care about Animo supports. Actually, I may have okay, one thing I think I might have got wrong, but this wasn't wrong at the time. But I guess with like once like Chiori came out, that you could actually play Navia plunge. Now it wasn't stronger than her older teams, but it was a thing. But you win some, you lose some. Like realistically, how many Neuvillette mains are going to stop playing him with Farina? So to illustrate the point, I've put all the limited DPSs in this list. Yeah, I don't know why I put Ryzie there, but yeah, this was like, people got super mad about this before. But I think if you go to like all the new videos about Xianyun, it looks exactly like this. Like saying that she's only good with these 3 characters. At the time, saying that was very controversial. Cleese Xianyun's alright, but it's more of like a high investment thing. But the thing is, Na'Vi doesn't have many teams. She has a lot of teams, but she doesn't have many archetypes. I don't know what a mid Na'Vi team is. It's probably like not a very good one. Maybe like Na'Vi official or something. So if you're comparing it to like Na'Vi official, something like that, then it's better than those teams for sure. But it's not like one of her top teams. I remember the vibe of the hype back then wasn't, oh, you can just play this if you want to. It was all these characters best new teams is plunge. Yeah, basically. Like there were probably loads of comments. Oh, why didn't you put Na'Vi up there, or Ito up there, Raiden up there, Eula up there, Hu Tao up there? Even like Yae Miko, people said that it was Yae Miko's best team. Like half of these characters, people were saying, oh, plunge is their new best team. Even if you look at, honestly, even if you look at the thumbnail of my video, I didn't even put Garming in the thumbnail, which honestly that kind of aged even better, because Garming you don't even need Xianyun. But that was like RNG. I can't take credit for that. She's best in slot, not really. She's probably the easiest to play, like one of Garming's easier good teams. If you want more damage, you can play either Sucrose or you can play a double cryo. People were even saying like, yeah, like Raiden plunge or Eula plunge. It was crazy. The hype was crazy. I don't want to put anyone on blast because that's a bit cringe, but I'm sure you could like look at old guides or old like meta videos and they will talk about like Raiden plunge or something. I think the only reason I put Ryzie there because I didn't play him, so I didn't know. And also he didn't really have a team at launch, so I had no idea. There really is no guarantees we'll get more plunge characters anytime soon. That was true, wasn't it? Looks like there's another plunge character coming a year later. But yeah, I guess this argument was about how like some people were gonna pull Xianyun for like the future meta. You could say that even still, Xianyun is an animo healer, so at the very minimum, she's just like Jean. And then even in most arena teams, personally, I get more damage and utility from Bennett or Kozwa, for example. Yeah, when did I make this video? But yeah, the intro was just to clarify those concerns. So even though this video was not like a negative video. Well, it was, but I definitely say in this video, like if you're like a Xiao main or a Diluc main or even a Garming main, if you play 4 stars, that she'll be good for them. But it comes across like a hater video because I'm saying for the other characters, like why would you play Xianyun with them? That's why I think I don't think much has actually changed with her. If I was to make a video now with Xianyun, I would probably make the same video. You might get some people that would say, oh no, the reason why Xianyun fell off is because with Navia, you can play Navia Moika now. Raiden Plunge fell off is because you can play Raiden Chevreuse. Hu Tao Plunge fell off is because you can play Hu Tao Xilonen. But I would say you could have played the budget teams of those anyway. The vaporized Plunge characters like Garming or Diluc, getting vaporizes consistently is pretty scuffed. You probably could say skill issue at this point. In fact, what often happens, it is a bit scuffed. I think what I'm basically saying is that like a character like Xiao, you don't have to worry about auras in AoE, but like the melt and vape characters you do, which is kind of true. But I mean, you could kind of say skill issue. But then again, this is a day -1 video. With Diluc, then you might have to go out of your way to use his skill, meaning you have to go out of your way to generate energy with him on field. Yeah, this is true. This is true that the Diluc team, you have like super bad energy issues. So like the main difference with Diluc and Garming wasn't the damage for me. It was just that with Garming, you have less scuffed energy issues. But I think I still say that even with Garming, he still has energy problems. It's just less problems than Diluc. It's relative. Even though something like Serpent Spine is usually stronger, there are a few issues in this team. I was complaining about Serpent Spine back then. Oh my god, this weapon sucks. How they released 3 Claymore characters and they're all still like signature weapon or Serpent Spine or Inshallah. Unfortunately, I found the VV debuffs are very difficult to set up. Plus, there are other practical issues, like for example, in the current Chamber 2, it's a multi-wave fight, so spawning enemies won't be debuffs. Yeah, this part is skill issue, but to be fair, again, this is like a day -1 video. And also my ping was 400 ping. So you put both those together, it's understandable that I wasn't able to come up with a VV setup. So what I found is the new healing set is actually pretty decent. Okay, I don't know why I said that. I'm pretty sure on like day 2 I would have said that set is terrible. I don't know why I said that. To be fair, I said decent. I said decent. I didn't actually say good. Good alternative. Good alternative. But yeah, I there's no way I would have thought that like a day later, a day after this video. Especially at C6, he feels very strong. You can see in my gameplay here, even with R5 Rain Slasher, he is nuking for big numbers. Oh, I said he was very strong, but I didn't talk about Melt here for obvious reasons. I don't think anyone knew about Melt Garming. When did this video come out? So maybe like 2 weeks later or something, I made this video about the 4-star Melt Garming team. But obviously I got that from the CN speedruns where people were destroying with him. Feel of a new limited 5-star hyper carry. He feels like a new limited 5-star hyper carry. Garming has to be the best DPS outside of Arlecchino, Neuvillette, Mualani, Moika, left foot, right foot. What does that mean? It's that like you did pretty good. All you need to improve on is like your free kicks, your shooting, your passing, your dribbling, your tackles, your possession based, your man marking. Looking back, honestly, I'll just add that these teams are pretty mechanically intense, and whilst they're not the relative, but before the fighting game player says that Genshin is an easy game, I can see many people being excited, trying them out, and immediately you're like, nope. That is true. That is probably the most true thing I said in this video. I think that I predicted, or I guessed, that a lot of casual players will try these plunge teams and then say like, this after like 15 minutes or a couple days. It seems to be fairly fixed that you want Farina, Xianyun and Bennett, which means you're always going to have to deal with the weaknesses of these characters. Well, that's true for other characters. It wasn't true for Garmin, but I mean, I didn't know about Melt back then. The setup times for fully buffed these teams is atrocious. And it means even if your actual damage numbers are very big, you might not even get to utilize a full damage window, and the enemies might have already moved around or changed phase. That's actually true. That's actually quite true. What ended up happening with a lot of these plunge teams is that they had like high DPS theoretically, but by the time you finish setting up, your old team was already got like 2 hits in. Or like the Garming team clears faster without the 5-star characters. Hello Jamie, what is the issue with the healing set? I got lots of pieces farming for Navia. Yeah, I got lots of pieces as well. But yeah, the issue with the set is that first of all, it has a limited procs. So the damage is kept. But also to get that damage, you have to heal. For some characters, you know, you don't always activate the healing. But also the last reason is just that you get more buffs directly buffing rather than this. Amount of buffs just isn't high enough. It's just that why would you have this restrictive set on when you could just using Noblesse or something like that. But it's even worse than mixed set. So for Xianyun, it's like, it's not even that this is the second best, but this is like the third best. Also, the last reason why it's not good, even if it was good, like I think it was usable if you like play Shinobu with Neuvillette. It's usable. It can like buff Neuvillette's damage by like 4%, maybe 3%, something like that. But the issue with that is the time it takes you to farm this set, you might as well have just kept farming for your Neuvillette and just got him like 2 more substats directly. It's very easy to overcap on crit rate. Like Xianyun gives crit rate here. You might have Garming C6 gives 20% crit rate here. There's also a lot of claymores that give crit rate too, like Serpent Spine or Verdict. You might also be using Marechaussee Hunter for 36% more crit rate. This is why no one plays Marechaussee Hunter. Yeah, I was playing Crimson Witch, but this was actually the meta. I think at the time when I made this video, I was just playing it because I had a better build. But it turns out that Marechaussee Hunter Garming actually sucks, and then you're supposed to play this. To be honest, I don't think I realized that when I was making the video. I mean, there was some stuff that I think that I overlooked here, but I think the overall conclusion would not change that at all. Pretty good video. All you need to do is improve the takes, editing, information, thumbnail, and voice.